Fury Usyk, and I did mention that night that you had against Usyk. Tony, briefly, as painful as the memory probably is, still, indulge in me. How do you look back in it?
I look back on it that I gave it absolutely everything I had. When I get stopped in the 8th round, I'm ahead on 2 cards, and I'm drawing on the 3rd official card of the Ukrainian judge. So it is what it is, Jim. He's an amazing fighter. He's the only fighter I ever boxed and felt I was out of my depth. He's the only one who could ever do it to me. I lost against Adonis Stevenson. Yes, it made me prime. Well, it wasn't in my prime, but making weight against Adonis Stevenson played a huge factor. Against Oleksandr Usyk, I was in great shape. I was in absolutely tremendous shape. I was former world champion myself. I just defeated the former unified cruiserweight champion, former heavyweight champion, David Hay. I was coming into it off the best performance of my career. And make no mistake, I 100% believed I was going to win. This was after I'd sparred with him in Ukraine, to be honest, after I was at the Klitschko Cup as an amateur. I just thought as a professional, I will cop him with 10-ounce gloves, and I thought I will be able to draw his lead, and I went in there and boxed him. I don't think there's a heavyweight in the world who had as good a boxing brain as I have and will be able to do to Usyk what I done to him, which was to make him miss, make him reach, and make him pay at times. Whereas with someone like Tyson Fury, he's now the worst thing in the world you can do. Because the minute you try to press this boy, you're going to lose, and you're going to drastically. You know, you look at the fighters he's fought and he's beaten. He's gone to every single champion's backyard and their patch and beat them up on their patch. The job that he done on Murat Gassiev in Russia was absolutely phenomenal. He did not take a shot, and that's what he's capable of doing when he gets in a ring. He adjusts and adapts with each style that he faces. And I think Tyson Fury may pose a few problems early on because of his size and because of his weight. Yeah. But ultimately, he will adapt and adjust, and he will take over the fight, and he will win on points unanimously.
Tony, you're slightly breaking up there. So if you, I know we're outside now. No, it's fine. You're outside the golf course. You're coming over. It's breaking up slightly. Stand still for a moment. We don't want to miss a trick here with what you're saying. So, by the sounds of what you're telling us here, are you big time taking Usyk to beat Fury?
I picked Usyk from day one. I think Tyson Fury stood the best chance of beating him when he was with his uncle Peter Fury, because that's when he was a unorthodox, big, awkward fighter who used his size and his attributes to his advantage and his awkwardness to his advantage. Now that he's this fighter who likes to press fighters and look for a knockout under the brilliant, Sugar Hill Stewart at the Kronk, he's a different fighter, Jim. He's someone who looks for the knockout. That's music to Oleksandr's ears. I know, because I've faced him. I've been in there with him. The boy's exceptional at what he does. Now, don't get me wrong, there's another side to that coin. Tyson Fury could get on top of him. He might be too heavy, but my opinion, from my experience, I just believe Oleksandr Usyk's going to win wide on points. And I've said this from day one. We also have to put this into context. If Oleksandr Usyk and Fury were the same size, guys, this fight wouldn't even be up for debate, would it? Let's be honest. He wouldn't win a round. This fight's so close because Tyson Fury's 6'8", 6'9".
And there is Tony Bellew on his prediction that never changed, okay? But it's safe to say his final prediction, his consistent prediction on Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury. And I think Tony Bellew speaks from experience. Now, I remember that fight. In fact, I'm going to watch that fight here in a little bit and see what Oleksandr Usyk did with Tony Bellew versus what Tony Bellew did with Oleksandr Usyk, because Tony Bellew was successful at times in that fight. He was, catching, shooting, leading with the right hand, catching Usyk coming in, that in and out, he was able to time at times that, that frontwards and forwards action and formation that Usyk does, you know what I mean? And he was able to, and he had some success. So he knows he's the guy that, took on the wolf. And, I like to hear someone that knows what the hell they're talking about based on their experience with that particular person that they're talking about. Not what they feel or what they think they can do. What they know they can do based on experience. I think that goes a long way. That's why Tony Bellew is, in fact, a lot more credible than a lot of people that just cap, right? But that fight, it was a very, very impressive win because Tony Bellew was coming off of 2 upset wins from David Haye, you know, and the first time it was some kind of foot or Achilles or whatever it was. But understand also, Tony Bellew challenged himself. He challenged himself, and Usyk was the kind of guy, he kind of tempted Usyk to do certain things, you know, in that fight. But you notice he was also able to adjust. And that's what made it so different. And that's what Tony Bellew's talking about. Like, well, look, Tyson may have success just doing what Tyson does. But once Usyk figures out, like, okay, this is what he has, I know what he can do, so let me impose my attack on him. That's what Tony Bellew's doing. And I like the whole breakdown from Tony Bellew. Now, you can, and a lot of people do, you know, become automatic fans over their victors, over their conquerors. You know, a lot of people do that. So I can't not overlook that, okay? I'm not taking that out of the equation. But also, experience is a factor. And the only thing, though, has Tony Bellew ever been in there with Tyson Fury? You know what I mean? That's the only thing about Tony Bellew and his experience. Yeah, it's only with one fighter. And the rest is what that other fighter has done with other fighters and not themselves. You know what I mean? The best person that could tell you is someone like Derek Chisora. But Derek Chisora is really not that technical. Okay, so he doesn't have that IQ that someone like Tony Bellew would have if he would have been in the ring with both fighters, to be fair. You know what I mean? So I think that Tony Bellew is basing the win or his prediction on his loss to Oleksandr Usyk based on what he can do. But what he did was very, 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 very impressive. You know what I mean? Because it was almost like you pissed Usyk off, and then Usyk turned up on you. You know what I mean? He hit that other gear and then left you in the dust. But you guys tell me what you think of Tony Bellew and his final prediction of Usyk versus Tyson Fury. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!